Let's go!
It's actually the world of difference. Just coming in my second spring ball.
Jake Merklinger is here, starting quarterback. So in the background, that's actually George MacIntyre throwing a touchdown pass. We've already done a breakdown on him. That'll be floating in the top right corner of the screen. So we go to Jake Merklinger. I don't know if this is his very, very, very first rep, but we start things off here with a bad incompletion. This is obviously a big piece of the Tennessee offense. Just anything quick game. Got to have receivers who can block on the outside. This honestly is not the worst block I've ever seen, but the throw, as you could clearly see, was low, and you start off here with a bad incompletion. Everything seemed to move a little too fast. Now here on this play, this honestly is just a really good defensive call, and Tennessee is really good at it. Obviously, Tim Banks is one of the best blitz defensive coordinators in the country. This is actually a twist stunt with an edge rusher, or excuse me, a blitzer coming around the edge, and you rarely see that. You rarely see a twist with a blitz coming around the edge at the same time. These protectors pick it all up, and now Merklinger is responsible for this blitzer. Now, should this running back have come all the way over to pick up this blitzer? I don't know the protection calls, but you could see that Merklinger, could he have ripped this ball right here? Maybe, but probably not. The blitz was there, and he actually takes a pretty nice knock there. You'll see that this linebacker is coming out to defend the running back out of the flat. The problem is this overhang is also in the passing lane right here. So Merklinger has to get this ball up and down, and man, this ends up being a really, really, really special throw for a first down. That's good stuff. Okay, so we get to the next rep here. It's impossible for me to see if there's any receivers open here to the right side. So we could do some counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 3 DBs over here. So it can make sense that he's not trying anything deep on this side. So what he decides to do, this is really good pass protection right here by this tackle. This end is all the way in Murfreesboro, and it opens up a huge rush lane. And honestly, if there was something Nico was really good at in this offense, it was once he saw nothing was open on this side of the field, he was really good at quickly snapping down, tucking, and running into this open space. Merklinger does an overall fine job of that and taking the yards that are given to him. We get to this next rep. We're just flying through these today. You can see Merklinger changes things up at the line of scrimmage. You don't get a good snap. It's a little bit off to the right. Remember, we talked about these throws, these comebacks. They could be very, very, very dangerous, especially with the quarterback where everything is just moving so fast. You know, you start off looking to the left. Defender gets underneath this comeback route, and that should have been picked. Lucky enough, it was an overthrow. And this is good quarterbacking right here, okay? Double slant concept to the wide side of the field. This linebacker is pinned in really tight, and you don't see a safety anywhere close. So you want to throw this quick slant. Let's take a look at this route at the top of the screen. It's impossible for me to see who this is. It's not the absolute sharpest slant you'll ever see. That ball could have been caught. Instead, it pops up and was almost an INT. Okay? We get to the next rep. All right. Once again, really, really, really bad quarterbacking. And honestly, there's just so much that we don't know. But one thing you have to do when you play quarterback is there needs to be very snappy decisions based on what is called leverage. Okay, so what Tennessee is electing to do is run a quick out with their big tight end. So the way this is supposed to be read, if this corner is bailing out here, okay, this is where you need to go with the football, the quick out. So you can see that the corner is running with this vertical. This ball needs to be out now. It needs to be out now. But you notice he waits till the tight end is wide open, and honestly, it's just too late. Watch this ball wobble, all right? Once again, not the best snap. It's kind of to the right of him, but it's good enough, and it's just tough for me to see footwork from here. And take a look at this ball path. You could see it's like a duck being shot on a Tennessee lake during duck season. I didn't say that smoothly at all, but it's a bad throw. This is the danger of a spring game. So Josh Heupel is like, well, I don't want to give away my playbook, but then again, I have a quarterback struggling. So let me come up with a very genius play design. And honestly, this is as good as you will ever see in a spring game. So this is the do-all everything tight end. Tennessee, please remind me, fans, remind me of his name. And you can see that he actually cuts here to the inside. So he starts off here as a slot wide receiver. Now he's in at tight end. And normally when you motion a tight end here, there's two things he's probably going to do. He's either going to be a lead blocker or he's going to go out on a pass on a split zone action. Tennessee with MacIntyre had actually just scored a touchdown on a split zone where the tight end actually goes flat and you throw the football to the tight end in the flat, right? It's normally a pretty good play. But you can see that the safety is playing the split zone, and you can see this linebacker is feeling hard on the run because he's thinking that this tight end is now the lead blocker, but instead he's actually leaking into this space right here. That is very intricate play design, okay? And that's one that I probably want to keep in my back pocket for the actual season. I know they've run it before, but still. The only thing I would say, and I understand they're not going at full speed, I need 0 right here to cut back on this safety and score. This is the last line of defense right here. Cut back on him and score. Maybe, you're just letting up because it's a spring game, but still. We get to the next play. And, oh, God, this is just absolutely positively atrocious quarterback play. It just is. Tennessee runs a lot of option routes. You're either running a slant, a go, or a hitch as a receiver. Obviously, they run some digs, but still. As a receiver, if you feel that the DBs are playing that far off, sometimes you want to stop a little bit sooner. Maybe Merklinger was thinking that was going to happen. So he starts off looking right versus his zone alignment. And honestly, if you're going to start off looking right, I know they do a lot of we read looking right and then immediately snap left. I probably would have liked to have worked this side of the field, okay? If this corner sits, throw the whole shot right here, okay? So, bang, okay? This is a big, big, big gainer. But maybe it was supposed to be read, start looking to the right, and you automatically look left. Some of that is built in. And instead, you're trying to throw a late cross-field ball to the stop over here. Next play. Sometimes you just get out-schemed. They call it a perfect run blitz, and it just gets stuffed. Now, we get to, what is this, 4th and long right here? And you get it, okay? It looks like it's 4th and a good little bit, all right? What's another small Tennessee town? 4th and Cordova. And I'm going to let you decide if this is actually a good throw right here by Jake Merklinger. It ends up being one of his bigger throws of the day. And while we tell you about that, we want to shout out our friends at Fast Draft Fantasy. Did you know, if you truly believe Dylan Sampson is going to be a rookie superstar running back, you could draft him now on Fast Draft Fantasy and have a huge advantage over the field by winning $50,000. Sign up now using a promo code match Carter. Once again, Carter. It helps you out in a major way. All right. This is really bad quarterbacking and a sign that the game is just moving maybe a little too fast. So you'll see that Merklinger here is given an absolutely positively ridiculously good pocket. And Nico in particular, really, really good. He had a big throw versus Vanderbilt on a deep dig, a deep inbreaker. So you can see that it's impossible for me to see over here that Merklinger, if he didn't like the coverage, he could have gotten off of this and worked this dig right here. And guess what? It's 4th down. So you've got to pick this up, or is that a 3? It's kind of tough to see. Instead, even though he has a really good pocket, Merklinger sees a rush lane. So in an actual game, if he's running full speed, is he squeezing through this? Maybe so. Maybe he's squeezing through this, making this guy miss and running forward. But because it's a spring game, he decides to throw it. It's impossible for me to know. What you can't do, though, on this is by the time he's actually throwing this football to Matthews, number 10, on the deep inbreaker, you'll see that it's already been undercut by this DB, okay? So what happens here is it actually gets caught by the other receiver running the deep dig route, and it is still a first down. So let's just say instead of a dig, this was just a stop. Maybe Matthews is still able to get through this, but this ball probably still should have been thrown just with 2 feet on the ground instead of while you were running. Still, it's a first down. Maybe I'm wrong on that play. I watched it a few times over. Once again, it's tough to see with how things are. Okay. He's a younger quarterback. You get a 3-man front right here. So, especially if you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys in the box, I like to just automatically check into a run here on first down. All right. The second thing that happens here is I don't know if this was actually called for a false start. Was this a false start? Yeah, it was. Okay. So, false start, but still. Now, to the next play. It's 1st and 15. Oh, yeah. This is the good stuff. Little RPO action, and you have the inbreaker here. Good stuff. We get to the next play. Yeah, this one's kind of tough too. So the one thing about this Tennessee offense is if you time your blitzes well, because they have a lot of these 5-man fronts, and because Tennessee also elects for their offensive linemen to have tighter splits than most teams, these edge blitzes, it's not as far of a distance. So you can see that this slot corner times this blitz to perfection. You also have a backer coming in right here, but you'll see that this is open. It could have been thrown. Instead, Merklinger runs away from it. Is he actually running away from that in a game? It's kind of tough to see. I'm glad he didn't try the dangerous flip. He runs out of bounds, and we get to the next play. So Tennessee decides to check again at the line of scrimmage. Let's see what they decide to do. Kind of forgot this play. Okay. All right, so once again, this is really good quarterbacking right here. Merklinger sees the blitz. Another thing is, since Tennessee is lined up in a 3-man front alignment, this honestly is really good stuff by Merklinger. Because there's only 3 guys, there is a higher likelihood of this guy coming off the edge right here. That's a good read right there. Let's just work this RPO stuff, and this is a pass interference. It's very clearly early right there, but they didn't call it. Interesting. Yeah, it's PI, y'all. Come on. Let's be adults here. It's a bad call. Sets up this 4th down.
Obviously, Merck had the 1 pick on the double move where the safety's a player in the middle of the field.
Okay. Since it's 4th down, this throw isn't as bad, but holy crap, it's still bad quarterbacking. So one thing when you're in this portion of the field, teams just love to blitz in this extended red zone area. But watch what happens here to the protection. Bam. It's really good. Now, this running back blitz pickup wasn't the cleanest, as you can clearly see, but it wasn't terrible. Now, let's take a look at the route concepts. You're basically just running verticals with all your guys, and it's single high. So if it's single high safety and you're running verticals, it's very important as a quarterback to not stare down one of these guys because the safety's just going to be over the top of it all day, every day. This ball should never be thrown. DB has him swallowed whole anyway. It's a super bad throw. What I would have done here, if I see single high, I am looking right and working back left or vice versa. Now, it's tough when you have all these blitzers coming, but you can see both guys to the left have their guys beaten by a country mile. Instead, he decides to throw this one, and it's going to get picked every time. We move ahead. Really good run play right here. You're running a little GT counter, and it's honestly a good run on first down. It could have been more profitable. Looks like it was only 3 yards, so it wasn't a great run. But this one was. I like the different variations of counter that Tennessee actually runs. So this is counter, but it's being run with an H-back with a little return motion. So the H-back is running this way to make you think it's a potential run, but he's actually zigzagging. So this basically becomes the same play you just saw, except it's the fullback and the guard pulling around. And you can see how this design gets this linebacker here all out of sorts. So this backer here to the backside is thinking, okay, they're running some counter variation here to the right side, so he screams over the top of this and takes himself out of the play. Really good double right here to get this DT out, and look at how big of a hole that is. It's very creative rush design, and you get a huge tons of backups in, so that helps out here, but still the run blocking's good. And let's see if we can get to another Merklinger throw. Yes, this is a good stuff right here. This is really good stuff right here by Merklinger, okay? So play action, you've had a few really good runs. You see the safety fly in right here, so you pull it and you want to throw where the safety is coming from. That's honestly excellent stuff. Look at this anticipation as well, all right? Look at when he's actually deciding to rip this football. It's now. All right, that's a lot better anticipation, game slowing down. That's clearly PI, and you move the chains. Good rep here. Part of playing quarterback is avoiding the disaster mistakes, okay? So this should have been thrown. If you don't throw this, you got to hit this in breaker. He didn't like it because there's a defender right here, but he just gets the heebie-jeebies on this. Protection breaks down. You back up, and you just kind of throw this away. All right, was there room? Was there a rush lane for him to step up? Maybe so right here, but still, just throw it away. Lid to fight another down. All right, another example. College football is really hard. These spring games are difficult to evaluate, okay? This ends up being a really good throw. Does a better safety make this play, though, and pick this off? Maybe so. If you're running full speed, maybe you do. But once again, the protection is really good. You do get two guys going to the stop, so you want to throw the in-breaker. Let's rewind it one more time. Could this have been ripped sooner? Yes. This could have been ripped a little bit sooner, but it still gets there, and the safety in an actual game is probably breaking that up or forming some type of collision, but that ball could have been a hair sooner. One more Merklinger little rep here. You get a little split zone action with your tight end. Very easy, simple completion, and there you go. So you start off with a good drive starter here. Get to the next play. This is not bad at all, okay? One of the concepts that Tennessee likes to use, and it's one that I am not a huge fan of, is double slants. And in particular, with younger quarterbacks versus zone coverage, okay? So you have slant here. And if you're playing zone, good DBs know that they have help to the inside, and they also know that that this is normally read inside out. So they'll see that this guy is covered, and the DB is able to just get off this DB and then pick this ball off right here. Okay, so 37 gets off of this, and Merklinger doesn't want to throw the double slant. Now we get to here. This whip should have been thrown. All right, it's difficult to go all the way here and then all the way back to the little, actually it wasn't a whip, it was just, a redirect. This should have been thrown by now, okay? Instead, it ends up being a throwaway. Final play, it's really nothing. 73 just gets beat really badly to the inside. There's not a whole lot wrong with getting beat to the inside with a right-handed quarterback, but where it really stings is if you start off looking left and your eyes aren't in the direction of the rush. So this in and of itself isn't the worst because, a normal quarterback is going to be able to break, contain, but because you look to the left and because this pass set was just so far out to the out wide, when you open your gate this much, it's going to lead to a sack, baby. Ugh.
But, they moved the football, made plays.
It's just a spring game and a ton of backups. But I've got to be honest about this QB room. You need to go get somebody. It doesn't matter the cost. You do not want to be like Oklahoma was last year, where Jackson Arnold and Michael Hawkins was your quarterback room. A true freshman and a year 2 player. I don't care how good of a recruit they were. This is a big freaking leagues. You got to go out there and get somebody experienced. And I understand this offense isn't the absolute easiest to learn, but somebody else needs to be added. Even though I do like MacIntyre a lot, but as you guys could just see, I'm not a huge Merklinger fan. So you, Tennessee fans, you're the experts. Let me know down below. And floating in your face right now are deep George MacIntyre breakdown. If you want me to go a little bit deeper, I only did a few of MacIntyre's spring game reps. If you want to see more, just comment below. I would love to do one. It is Power Hour SEC, baby. And tonight, we're doing wings.